Roll call. Catch my breath here. We had emails from both Councilor Francisco Guerrero and Jim Restucci asking for excused absence. Is there any objection? Without objection, we will grant them both excused absence. Excuse me while I catch my breath. Okay, otherwise everybody else is here, right. I don't see anyone here from the Ministerial Association this evening, so we will forego the invocation, but we will, however, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this time on the agenda, we call for unscheduled appearances by citizens, and we come up to the mic and introduce themselves and tell us where they're from. If we don't have any takers, do we have any takers? Is there a taker? We do have a taker. Remember, name and where you live. Sunnyside, New York.
I wish. Aaron Hicks, Sunnyside. Just anyone who's willing to answer this or can, I would just like to know why the marijuana issue is still being brought up when 60% of the population here in Sunnyside has voted against it. And those are 60% of people who have voted every council member into their seats. And as far as I am concerned, if you go against the citizens, then you are going against people who elected you into those chairs to make a difference that they saw best for the city. That's about it.
That's your comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right. And the vote right here. So at this time, we will dispense with the reading of the consent agenda and see if anyone has anything on the consent agenda we need to. Can we have a motion to accept?
I had some questions.
Okay.
I see there's two payments on fire command vehicles. Are they the same vehicle or is it two different vehicles?
Do you have a number there?
Well, it doesn't have a voucher number. The very first page of the vouchers, and it's U.S. Bank Equipment Finance, and just like
it falls under 43 or 4903.
Did you find it there? Okay.
Yeah. And then it would be claim 001, and then there's 1440.
Yeah. Is that?
Okay, hang on a minute while we look at those.
Are we making payments on two vehicles or?
Ken, Ms. Alba.
As part of the budget process, we approved a loan from U.S. Bank that was a combined loan for different pieces of equipment. And this is the fire department's portion of the fire command vehicle, and we split that 40% to the general fund and 60% to the ambulance fund.
Oh, okay. Then on the add another one on the jail van, $1,050. That was just right below it. Is that our monthly payment on that, $1,050, or is that?
That is part of the same loan, so that is the jail van's portion of that loan payment.
So that's not necessarily a monthly payment on that one vehicle. That's just.
I would imagine it would actually be the monthly payment because.
On one vehicle.
Correct. I believe the jail van was almost $70,000. If I don't quote me, but we did a combined equipment purchase. The entire loan was about $450,000 for all of the equipment that we purchased. And then those loan payments are split by who's using them or what vehicles they went for.
Okay.
Does that answer your question,
Yeah.
Mr. Stromer? All right. Does anyone else have anything they want to take off or to ask questions about? If not, let's see. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, is there any debate? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I too vote aye. Motion carries. We have here on our active agenda an amendment, Sunnyside Municipal Code 14.08030. Construction or alterations, first reading, consider amending for construction or alterations, allow construction of engineered wood structures to use the hangar space at the Sunnyside Municipal Airport. I believe we talked about this during our workshop. Is there anything else we needed to know? Were we changing ordinance or just approving the that policy change within the ordinance? Is there any questions about that?
That's where we just changed the word to wood, is that correct? Yeah, okay.
So if there's, is there, what is the wishes of the council?
Move to approve?
Second.
So motion, Mr. Henry, and second by Mr. Boersma. Any debate on this issue? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I too vote aye. Motion carries. And the Gray Key, number B, Gray Key interlock agreement. Consider approving resolution authorizing interlocal agreement with other cities to purchase Gray Key. As I recall, at our last meeting, we wanted to have some more information about a contract, which I understand there's some, there isn't a contract per se. But Mr. City Manager, could you explain this a little bit?
Madam Mayor, council, ladies and gentlemen, if you give me just a second, could you pull up that photograph and put that one right there? This is actually not a service. The city of Yakima bought the device. It's actually a device, and they've paid for it, and what they're offering you through an ILA is the use of their technicians to use their device that they purchased to unlock iPhones for law enforcement. So again, last meeting, I think we were a little confused as to what it was that they were purchasing. They were thinking it was an online thing or something like that, and it's not. There's the picture of the device. You plug the iPhone into it, and it does. And there's some additional photographs there if you'd like to see those. They're kind of hard to see on that screen, but you can. It just identifies the code and unlocks it and then downloads it. I understand. Is that correct? Commander Chrisman is here. He's got a little bit more information on this. But again, this is not a service that we're hiring Gray Key to do. It is a device that Yakima has decided to buy, and they're offering it to be available to our people. And I believe it costs us a couple $1,000 each and every time we do an iPhone or ask it and ship it away, and it takes quite a while. This will be locally done, and that's it. So at this point, I'd turn it over to Commander Chrisman for additional comments.
Right, so it costs us $2,000 through Cellbrite, which is the software that we currently use for Android and some Apple applications. What Yakima has done is they've purchased this device and connectivity to Gray Key for $15,000, and they're asking us to contribute, if you will, $2,000. Now, the purchase has already been done, so they own the product. They have the technician who's been trained. And for the price of one unlock through Cellbrite, we'd get unlimited unlocks through Gray Key. And Apple has a different encryption than the Android phones, and so it's much tougher, almost some people say impossible, to get into those without an avenue, and Gray Key offers that avenue now. So I did bring Gray Key's invoice. This is the closest thing that they could give us to a contract, and then Gray Key did send an email that clarifies that it's an unlimited usage each year, and then each year there's a renewal fee. So Yakima would continue to maintain the subscription, have the technician available, and offer it to us if we choose to buy into it. This is something that we need. It's not something that we want. I guess that's the one thing I wanted to say last time I was in front of you. We cannot enter an Apple 5 and above, 5 to 10. It's just encrypted too hard. You have to get the owner of the phone to actually give us permission or give us the encryption coding that they've embedded in the phone in order to get the data out. I read today in the Daily Sun News the article about that Mr. Harnack wrote about the what's been called hacking. It's not hacking, it's just a encryption disencoding that we can use. And the one thing that I wanted to make sure that this council and the citizens knew is that in order to get into a phone, we have to have a warrant. And in order to get a warrant, we have to get a judge to sign off on it and give us legal authority to go into it. If we don't have legal authority to go in, we can't go in. So even if we have access to this without a warrant, we can't get into a citizen's phone. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that, because it was a point that was brought up in the article. I'm happy to take any questions that you might have.
I have one. Do you know how many times we've needed Sunnyside to uncrack an Apple phone by any chance? Because I asked the chief last time and he didn't have that answer, and it would. Do you know?
We just haven't. When we've had an Apple phone, we've just chosen not to try to enter it. So I can't quantify it for you. I can't say that last year we could have opened a phone 20 times. I don't know, because it's just too cost prohibitive for us in the past. At $2,000 a phone, it's not worth it. So we'll bypass that and give it up. We know that people are using phones much more frequently today to video record things, audio record things, store still images, have information in there that might be pertinent to homicide, all the way down to theft ring. And that's where they're storing their data. And so it's important for us to get into it, but we just haven't been able to afford it up until now.
And you said we do need a subpoena, correct, for that to even happen?
A search warrant, yeah. So the detective would have to say, this phone is important to the investigation. We believe that this information is going to be stored in that. We're going to search solely for that information that's outlined in the warrant, and the judge would have to make sure that there was legal authority that we could move forward on it. Couldn't use it. We couldn't just grab someone's phone and plug it in and say, we're going to look at what's on your phone, and if there's nothing on there, you have nothing to worry about. Not legally, it can't stand alone. It's under the Fourth Amendment. Warrantless searches are not legal. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Yes, Mr. Korsma.
Yeah, I would assume that this annual membership that we'd have with Yakima on this phone application thing would also include updates and new models and everything new that's coming out to continue to update.
That's correct. And then Yakima has committed their FTE, to go through the training at their expense and continue to get the upgrades that way as well.
Okay.
We wouldn't have an FTE assigned to do this.
Okay.
I know,
Mr. Strumler, you had a question?
yeah. Well, I know one of the things Mr. Guerrero brought up last time was that it's basically a startup company, and he was having some real problems with it as being a startup company, and that is, I assume that's probably still the same problem today. That it's not that, it hasn't been on the market that long, and
It's about 1 year old. This company is about 1 year old, but it has continued to grow, and the customer base has continued to grow, and so they and the law enforcement community is very comfortable and confident in what they're seeing. As I said last time I was here, we did send a phone to Cellbrite. They gave us one complimentary download with the purchase of the software program. It took 6 months to get the phone back. Cellbrite is, on average, extracting about half of the data that Gray Key has been extracting nationwide. And so that's promising as well. We know that this is as effective of a program to get twice as much data from that Cellbrite would normally get. So the people that we've talked to are very confident with the company, with the program itself. They're very happy with the results, and so we're banking on that.
I understand, I think from our last conversation about the Gray Key, that this was also an interlocal agreement that was with other law enforcement communities here in the valley. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Through the Yakima.
Yeah, and I can tell you that Yakima PD has invited to the table 8 agencies in Yakima County to participate. Those of us who are large enough and have a definite need for downloading data from the phones. And so potentially, and the way it was explained to me by Yakima PD is it's sort of proportionate to the amount of work that we might send to the table. So for instance, Sela PD may send less work to the table than Sunnyside PD, just because of population size, caseload, that sort of thing. And so for us, as you know, the $2,000 is the mark that we've been asked to submit on this ILA.
Is there any other questions? Mr. Strummer?
No idea how many phones we would have used it on last year if we would have had the system last year?
I can't give you a number, Council. I'd love to.
Give me a rough number?
It'd be dangerous for me to do that. Even if it was 2, we'd be way ahead of what we did. My evidence technician tells me that she just doesn't send iPhones in because of the fact that it's too cost prohibitive. I know for a fact that we had 2 cases last year that I can just remember off the top of my head that involved an Apple iPhone. My evidence technician and my detectives are very excited about implementing this product. They think it's got that much potential.
Yes, Mr. Hicks.
Yeah, like you were stating, it's $2,000 to send a phone in as we stand now.
Correct.
And this is $2,000 for a year's worth.
Of unlimited downloads.
Okay.
So one download technically could cost
$2,000.
$2,000. We use it
Where we stand
one
now.
time. One time we use it's $2,000. If we use it 15 times, it's $2,000.
That's correct.
Okay. Any other questions from council?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
if I may. Council, could you pull that article back up? I'm sorry. It may be. Okay. Okay, that's okay. The article that we just had up there, actually, this company, if you remember the San Bernardino terrorist attacks, okay, they sent the iPhones to the FBI. The FBI could not do it. There was a lot of news reporting about it, and they thought it was the company we currently use. I can't remember what it's called, Cellstar or whatever it's called.
Celebrate.
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 And it turns out they couldn't do it. This is the company that did it. Okay? This is the company that was able to unlock those iPhones. So I wanted to bring that, and as I said, as the commander said, right now, if we send an iPhone off to Celebrite, it's $2,000, $2,000 each time we send it. So it's not, again, that's the issue. If we send 4, that's $8,000. If we send 1, it's $2,000. If we send 5, it's $10,000. This is $2,000 to participate with the city of Yakima, who purchased the device. Okay, the device will be coming out with updates, and I believe it can do a 10, which is the latest model out. iPhone will be doing updates, and it's up to this company now. And again, I don't know where these people that created this company are from, but obviously they're smart enough to crack an iPhone when FBI couldn't do it and anybody else couldn't do it. Okay, because they do have some pretty crack wizards over there at the FBI and the CIA and the National Security Agency and various other people. And so again, what you're buying is the opportunity through an ILA with Yakima to use this device for 1 year. If we don't use it, it's $2,000 out. However, you're going to be helping fight gang activity in this community. Okay? So my position is I strongly recommend we try this.
I guess the question then becomes, where at in the budget does this come from? Out of the police budget?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we're talking about this today. We have an investigative fund in the department. I don't, at this point, we haven't asked for additional funding. We just want to, because it's an ILA, it has to come through the council for approval. And so that's really what we're soliciting, is the approval to take money from probably the investigative fund and then make that purchase.
I'd just like to know where the money's coming from. And of course, you can't use it at all without a search warrant.
That's correct.
And Madam, if I may,
Yes.
I wanted to reiterate, a search warrant is much harder to get than a subpoena, okay? Just with Mr. Henry's comment there just brought that to my attention. A search warrant is not easily obtained. It is very difficult to do. It is by probable cause. A subpoena simply says, here, you don't have to have any evidence whatsoever, produce these documents or produce your body. And that's about it.
So what is the wishes of the council?
Got another
Oh, do you have
question.
one more question, Mr. Strumlin?
Last year, overtime was down about somewhere between 800 and 1,000 hours, which is probably comes out to excess of $50,000. I don't remember ever hearing anything that the PD had 50,000 left over last year. What happened to that money?
Well, I'm sure Ms. Alba can correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume that if there was any leftover money, it went back into the general fund.
Did anything come back into, was there some of it not used last year, or?
With your permission?
Mr. City Manager?
We actually are preparing the 2017 financial reports right now. I'm actually starting them, and we'll have all of those results for you shortly. So just a part of just a regular budget. So the easiest way I can say is if you have $100 as a beginning balance and you spend $50, you end up with $50 in your ending balance, which now becomes the beginning balance for the following year. It doesn't go away, it stays there.
So you don't know if it was left over or not, as far as the budget was concerned?
Not on individual departments at this point. I'm still looking at the big picture. But I will have all that information for you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? What is the desire of the council?
Move to approve?
Second.
I'm sorry, where was the move from? Mr. Hicks? And the second was by Mr. Boersma. Any other debate? Do you need debate? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I think it was all ayes, right? And I too vote aye, so the motion carries. Okay. Moving on to C, professional evaluation services agreement to authorize city manager executing an agreement with appraisal group SEWA LLP to provide appraisal services of airport improvements. Mr. City Manager.
Madam Mayor, Council, ladies and gentlemen, as I reported here a while back, we do own property at the airport, and we have ground leases at the airport. And one of the holders of one of the ground leases is interested in disposing of a certain property. And what happens on a ground lease is we own the property, and then we allow somebody to lease that property for an extended period of time, generally 20 to 25 years. And although I think Sunnyside has been much longer than that. And then they're allowed to build hangars and various improvements on those ground leases. And there's a problem in these, in that when they get old and things happen, the city still owns the ground, and the other person still owns the improvement. And the individual here that owns these properties, and it's Ted Durfee, is interested in selling these improvements. One is an office/residential property. He's been using it for a residential lease, a rental property. he has a fuel sales system out there and a hangar on this one ground lease. He's interested in liquidating that, okay? And quite frankly, I would like to buy it from him. It will clean up our ground lease operations. It will put us in the position of owning the fuel sales facility, which we should, okay, quite frankly, and then hiring someone to work as what they call a fixed-based operator, or FBO, okay? Again, this is a long-term lease that he had this piece of property out there. We probably should have owned that house many years ago and haven't. So this is the first step in trading, and Mr. Durfee has been working with us, expressed interest in trading with this property or selling the property to the city. So this is to get two pieces of the property appraised. This will take care of the house/office and the hangar. It will not do the fuel sales system because this is apparently something that only a few people in the country can do. So I'm still looking for the appraiser capable of doing that. So what I would like to do is get an appraisal to see if this is worth something for us to take care of. It'll go a long way in cleaning up our airport property.
Council, any questions? Mr. Boersma.
Yeah, I just want to thank the city manager for clearing that up. I was reading through this document and I couldn't find anywhere listed where exactly what we were trying to do with this appraisal. So now that I know that, I guess I understand the whole thing a whole lot better. I am myself curious to see just what that house/office building is worth, because I have a definite opinion. I've spent a fair amount of time in that building, and I've got a pretty low opinion of that particular piece of architecture. It's not a very good building. So hopefully it's not worth, they don't find it is worth too much.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? All right, what is the desire of the council?
Move to approve.
Mr. Henry, motion. Second, Mr. Hicks. Okay, any debate? I think it'll go a long way, as you say, towards cleaning up the property out there and making more in line with what we need it to be. If there's no any other comments or debate, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I too vote aye. The motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Okay. My little notes up to date. There's a vacant property donation. Consider accepting a donation from the Sunnyside Historical Association for property adjacent to the Sunnyside Museum. Mr. City Manager.
Madam Mayor, Council, ladies and gentlemen, what this is about is the museum board. Well, let me back up. The city owns the museum building. The museum board operates the museum for us. They own a piece of property immediately adjacent to the museum. They want to establish an outdoor agricultural implement display. That piece of property adjacent to the museum is the ideal location to start that display. For an explanation, it'd be similar to the one over in Union Gap on a much smaller scale. And I've had some discussions with them. We've got a lot of farmers that have already said that they will bring equipment in if we do this. So the reason that they want us involved, obviously, is because we own the property that the building is already on now. They want to put a fence around this so that people will come through the museum, walk through, go out a door, and then walk through the outside area. They also want to put a fence around it, obviously, for protection and that kind of stuff, and eventually make some improvements. So they want to get the city on board with this as a partner in the development of this property. And part of what they're asking us to do is help them grade it and put some gravel down and use our street equipment and stuff like that to help make the improvement for the walking path and that kind of stuff. So they are willing to donate the property to the city. Okay, so I've had our attorney draft up the agreement and the claim, the deed, and that's what this is about. And there is a resolution to this accepting the property, and there's it is. I think it's a good idea. We have a 100-plus years history of agriculture in this community. We have a lot of farmers that own equipment that would be very well suited to be out there. And I can see my vision of this as I got into this is to let it grow and maybe take some stuff out and park them along the walking path. You know, we've got a couple miles of good walking path out there that implement here and there would show your agricultural roots. So I'm supporting this. You know, we've looked at the property. We don't see that there's a risk involved to the city. We did not do a SEPA on it. Okay, we didn't check it to make sure that there wasn't any oil or anything like that. It appears to be vacant for as long as anybody can remember. So I think that the risk is minimal. To do a SEPA and stuff would have cost us about $6,000, I think is what I was told. So we opted to not do that at this point. So there's where we're at.
Okay. Mr. City Manager, it's on the south side of the building, or is it to the east side of the building?
It's to the south side.
To the south side. So that's where kind of where those piles of dirt are right now?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
this is something that's been a part of the discussion with the museum for probably close to 10 years now. They've known that they've owned that property, and they've been looking for different ways to use that. At what point they were going to have a building donated to them, all they had to do was figure out how to get it moved onto the property, and that all fell through. And so they were able to resume the discussion about what to do with that vacant land, and the idea that seemed to come to everybody's mind at about the same time through different discussions was, you know, agricultural heritage show. And that, you know, I think it's kind of exciting. As I've talked to different board members over the years, the idea continues to grow in their minds, and they'd really like to see some neat stuff done there. If we could make that happen, I think it'd be a fantastic addition to our museum.
I think so too. It seems to me that it plays right into what we're kind of developing anyway. This whole business of we might as well just own it, that we're an ag community, and that's just one more way to point to prove that to people. I mean, you know, along with the other things that we're doing. So, any other comments from the councilman? So, Mr. Ernie, you're moving forward. You got something, or are you just?
I'm wanting to move to improve. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that move forward.
That would
Boys
be
has
the
waited 10
next
years. I would like to jump on that.
right now. So 10 years, let's go. So you're making the motion then, I take
I
it.
am making that
Motion to
motion.
approve the vacant property donation by Mr. Henry. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And Mr. Boersma for the second. Any further debate? If I'm understanding correctly, it would be open air display.
Yes.
Okay. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I too vote aye. Motion carries. Get her done.
Thank you very much.
Very cool. All right. The second was Mr. Boersma. Items from council members, mayor appointments for boards and commissions. I don't have any of those tonight. I will say that Dawn Hawk, who is an art teacher at the Christian High School, sent me a letter, email, saying that she was going to be stepping down from the Arts Commission. She's been wanting to do it for a number of months, but she hung on for a bit longer. She's got just a lot of irons in the fire right now, so we'll be looking for a couple of people for the commission. So kind of looking for a couple of patron type folks. So if you know anybody who's art patron, kind of give me their names. Other reports, announcements, under questions by council. So anyone have anything they want to bring forward this time? Not? Okay. Move on to council request status report. So, Mr. City Manager, could you kind of walk us through that, please?
Madam Mayor, Council, there's really not anything new to report on the retail standards. We're still looking for a consultant to try to take on this job. We haven't been successful yet. On the Roman Avenue, we have received direction from council, but there's really no action to report at this time. We will start, again, trying to play that out for you and see what we can come up with, okay? So that's going to take some time. Animal control, we had that discussion earlier this month, and we need to decide what you want to do with that. I was trying to get that on the agenda tonight, but I didn't get it done. So I'll be bringing that back in 2 weeks and bring you some numbers. I was advised that the numbers that they provided last fall during our budgetary process are still valid, and they would honor that. Okay, so those numbers are still valid. So it's going to cost you about what we spoke about last week.
Okay.
Code enforcement report and the police department overtime report, I have those, and I will be sending those out. And quite frankly, I forgot to send those out. So I got that done. I had them redo it, quite frankly, and I got that on my desk or through my email the other day, and I'll be sending that out. I'll try to get that out tomorrow.
Is there any changes, anything they'll be looking for?
Well, the code enforcement report, I've asked them to redo, and it was basically just a bunch of numbers. I just wasn't happy with it, so I told them I wanted a little bit more of a report. And then the police department overtime and the commanders here, and it's averaging about $12,000 a month, which is good. It's about about $140,000 a year, so that's good. Okay, and they are keeping a good eye on it, and they do have a report. It's a good, very detailed report. So that one is just again, what happened was they sent them together, and I pulled the animal control report and asked the chief to redo that and look at it. And again, I think he understood where my concerns were, and asked him to redo that. So
The code enforcement, you mean?
correct, yes. And again, it was just a bunch of numbers, and,
Okay.
and it wasn't a report. I'm sorry, it just wasn't.
That's been kind of an issue, I think, as we've looked at it. Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we're getting some report. And again, I might be asking you guys what you want to see on that, and I've told them what I want to see on it, and so hopefully we'll get that out. And again, it's in my email. I just haven't opened it up. I think it came in last week.
Okay.
I took Thursday and Friday off to do some honeydews, and I saw that there was an email in there, but I just haven't got to it today. So on the next one is the First Street in Midvale. Again, this is something that we are aware of. We're going to take care of it. It's not on our 6-year tip yet. It doesn't need to be there. We are aware of the situation. We're going to take care of it. WASDOT is also aware of it. They know we want to fix it. It's just a matter now of the timing and when we're going to be able to get the money to take care of it.
Okay.
And we'll just keep going with that as we can. LTAC policy and reserves funds. You're going to be discussing that at your planning retreat this summer. The handicap zone at the senior center. Our engineers are working on that right now. We have applied for a grant, and hopefully we'll be able to get some action done on that. So, but it's pending the receiving of the grant.
Do you know if it might be done this year, or do you think it might be next year?
Madam,
Yes.
with your permission, Mr. Strimler, I hesitate to answer that question because I'm not sure how this grant monies flow. Okay, I'm just not sure how when they release their funding. Okay, we did not budget for it this year, so it would require a budget amendment if there's any matching or additional cost. Okay, and it's a $50,000 budget. I mean, a grant that we requested. I don't believe it requires a match. It just depends on if it goes over the $50,000, okay? And again, I'm not sure how their funding process works, so it might be September by the time we get notified, and then it obviously won't happen until spring or summer, okay? So I hesitate to say yes or no. But I will try to look into that for you and give you an answer, okay?
Awesome. Okay. And I think there's a thing on the tree replacement plan. It's the second page here.
That's what I was looking for. Mine's blank.
Oh, there you go. You can look at mine there.
Okay.
Doesn't have any numbers or anything on there, any people assigned to it.
Yes, we talked about that, and it really didn't go very far from that there, that area. We do want to plant trees, obviously, but we want to plant the right tree in the right location. There's a couple of spots out there, and I've had a discussion with Shane to put some fill in some bald spots along the walking path. Okay, and we've actually had a family that approached us a while back that said that they wanted to do that, and again, I think that's a good idea. Doesn't hurt anything, doesn't cost anything, it's just getting volunteers. So, and quite frankly, we still want to put some trees back downtown, but we can't do it yet. Okay, we're getting ready to start the Edison project, the Half Street project that we talked about last week, and what we need to do is let these tree trunks die, and we have to grind them out, and then maybe cut out another piece of concrete and put a tree in there. But again, as I've said in the past, trees need to live about 20 years and to be cut down. you know. After that, they start pushing up curbs and sidewalks and causing problems. You know, a 100-year-old tree is good in Central Park when it's got lots and lots of room for its roots to grow, but when it comes to being close to a sidewalk or a street, they start causing problems. So, but we haven't really pushed that too far, so it's not assigned to anybody yet. It's gonna, obviously, it's gonna go down to Shane somewhere, but
Okay,
we haven't done much else on that one.
okay. Well, that's good to know to talk about those trees on this pathway too. That's a really good idea. I noticed we kind of went over the top of the downtown planners.
Oh, did I miss that one?
Yeah,
I'm
and I
sorry.
just was curious as organizing the volunteers, and Mr. Henry was going to lead that project. I didn't know if you had anything on that. Have you had any work on leading the project for the volunteers for the planters?
We did have a few things. We had some. We were kind of denied the germination from the FFA. They were denied that, so we were doing some. We started some of our own for the
Oh, I see.
4-H.
Uh-huh. So that's still in the works a little bit?
It is. Yeah, I'll have to have a conversation with Mr. Day about that
Okay.
for sure soon. It's getting to that time.
Yeah, we need to be planning some things in there if that's what we're going to do. I just wanted to bring up about the planters too, the safety issues with those planters. I've been seeing some things going on with kids liking to climb up, parents like actually putting their children inside of the planters, thinking those are a playpen or something or other. I'm not entirely sure. But I don't know that there's any way to patrol that or control that other than just if the officers see somebody doing that, just kind of keeping an eye out for that kind of behavior. They're not playpens. They're not garbage cans. They're supposed to be pretty. So just wanted to put that out there.
Why those wild rose bushes got put in there like that.
Well, maybe that's why they were put in there. That could very well be.
That's right.
And
we do- And we have developed a policy, and staff has taken a look at that now, and it's pretty much done as soon as I get my final report back from our staff. We have a policy in place to where we can assign them and have
Okay.
somebody volunteer. We developed a little application to adopt a planter, and
Oh.
it's very similar to an adopt a median or adopt a highway program is what it is, and organizations, individuals, businesses can
That's a
adopt it.
really good idea.
And then they have a contract that they'll sign with us, and then it becomes theirs, and then we'll put a placard on there for them. So
Awesome. That's a very good
that's
idea.
just about finished, so I
Okay.
set up about a week ago, too.
Well, we have some folks who will be interested in taking part in that, I'm sure. So we have, I guess, upcoming, anything further on that? I don't believe. Anybody have any other things they would like to add to that list? No, not this time. Okay, the next meeting's coming up and our agenda planning schedule.
Madam Mayor, Council, ladies and gentlemen, so far for May 29th, you have absolutely nothing. This is the day after Memorial Day. So the question is, do you want to cancel that meeting? It'll be a Tuesday, so, but we don't have anything presently on that agenda, so.
Wow, what do you think? I see a couple nods.
You know, in the interest of giving staff a little bit of a break, you know, it's a long weekend, but they've also got a lot going on, and one more meeting for them and for them to have to be here. And for myself, on a selfish note, I'd
It's perfectly
not to have a
okay.
meeting.
Perfectly okay. Is that consensus around the table?
Second that.
Okay, well then,
Madam Mayor, I do need a motion and a second.
we do need a motion and a second, gentlemen. Who's making the move?
He's making the move, and I'll second.
Okay, Hicks moved to cancel the May 29th meeting, seconded by Mr. Boisma. Any debate? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, I vote aye also. All right, motion carries. I guess you guys get an extra day off, unless you don't get an extra day off.
No, we'll be working. We just get a little home a little bit early, maybe.
There you go. Okay, so then June 4th is our next workshop, correct?
That's correct, and I do not have anything listed for the agenda for that date as well.
Okay, we may come up with something.
Yes, ma'am.
There's usually something out there. And then, of course, then our June 11th is our next regular meeting. Oh, and the Miss Sunnyside Court's going to be there.
Yes.
Okay. I received an email from Mr. Restucci regarding some sort of a presentation he thought we should make at a council meeting regarding Mr. Honeyford and something that he did regarding Parks and Recreation. Is anybody familiar with that? I'm going to find my...
If you'll give us just a second, we
Okay.
can pull that up.
I was going to say if I could remember where I put my phone, I could find my email. If I recall correctly, it was someone from the state.
There's a desire to present Washington Recreation Park Association plaque to Senator Jim Honeyford in district.
I think that was it.
Yes.
Would there be any problem, any objection to just doing that on the June 11th meeting as well?
We can reach out to Senator Honeyford and see if he's available.
Okay. We'll see if we can do that, take care of those two things at the same time. All right. I don't have anything other than that. I just remembered that we had that. So we're down to, good evening, Mr. Fisher. Items from city manager and department heads. You're just in time.
If I may turn it over to my staff.
Certainly.
Chief.
The only thing I have is, we did start our annual host testing today, which all that means to the city is that 8th Street will be partially blocked off. It'll be open, but we'll be doing a little bit of traffic control. The block in front of the fire station for the next 5 or 6 business days probably. It takes about 5 or 6 hours a day for the staff to be doing that. But other than that, I have nothing unusual to report.
Thank you.
I have a couple items. As most of you know, 6 and YVH has been paved at Thursday. They should be out of the intersection by the end of this week. Have utility adjustments to do today and tomorrow, and a little bit of cleanup, and they'll be out of there. Should be open back up. Now, just a reminder: the signals, the new signals going in, have not arrived. So it'll probably be sometime in June, maybe early July, before those mast arms come in, and then of course contractor come back and install them. And just to let you know, that's pretty standard any day these days with traffic signals. It takes about 4 months to get them, but you can't order them until you approve the contract. And with a short contract like this, they got all the work done, but the signal still isn't here. So we're kind of playing the waiting game, but when they get here, we'll get them installed, and everything will be good. The airport opened up on Friday at about 2:30, so it's back up and going. Flight operations are going as normal. People flying in and out of there today, so that's good. Everything's painted up. There's a couple of punch list items on that project. They'll have to come back. A little tiny bit of minor grinding they got to do on the runway. Believe it or not, that long of a runway, 3,400 feet, you're only allowed 1 inch of tolerance in that runway. So if you vary any more than that collectively over that 3,400 feet, you're at a tolerance. So you got to grind certain areas down. So anyway, so there's a little tiny bit of that to do, and a little bit of touch-up painting, and other than that, it's good to go. So other than that, that's all I have.
Wonderful. So just ask a real quick question. So the 7th and 9th Edison, that starts?
That will start, we're looking at first week of June.
First week of June.
So we've gone to bid, of course, and accepted the bid. We're looking at the pre-con will be the 24th of this month, the pre-construction meeting, and then probably a week, maybe 2 weeks after that, we'll break ground.
Okay.
And that is only going to be a one block at a time project. So they're probably going to do the one between 9th and 8th first, and then they'll go from 8th to 7th to do that section. They don't want to tear them both up at the same time, and just because of the impact to the businesses and to the, of course, City Hall and the bed and breakfast that's next door to us. So that's the plan.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Yep.
Fisher.
Mayor, Council, today was actually our exit conference for the 2016 audit. And with that being wrapped up, it will be published on Monday. So we will have all of our final results. And I was trying to finish up that and get it off my plate before I started the 17 annual report. So just an FYI on that. And we did get some very positive feedback from the auditor that we have made strides in a lot of the areas that they had a lot of concerns on. One of them was internal controls. They did specifically mention that we have put a good place on watching where we're doing things and how we're doing it, and getting double signatures on things, and always having two sets of eyes, and they were very pleased with the changes we've made, just since the 15 audit. And then with that, I'm going to be leaving on Wednesday to go to Spokane for an annual report class, so that will get us started on the 17 financials.
Okay. Thank you.
Just a couple things. First, I wanted to thank you for the discussion tonight and for approving the gray key. That it means a lot to us in the police department. Second, I just wanted to say that during Cinco de Mayo, we really had a great event. I stood on the parade route with Madam Mayor, and we talked our way through that process. Almost got kicked by a horse at one point. But we only had 2 incidents the entire weekend. I was there Friday night, all day Saturday and Sunday. And we had one person who was escorted off because of the clothing that he chose to wear that day. And then 2 young ladies who decided to exercise their MMA skills with each other. And they were also escorted off the property. So that went very well. You will maybe already have read that we had a shooting last night in the city, and that's being currently investigated, but it's well under control and no significant injuries as a result of that.
I had a question about that. Do you know if that was gang-related by any chance on that?
It sure looks like it,
Okay.
but as I said, they're actively investigating it now, so I'll probably be able to report a little more clearer in the days to come.
I had a follow-up question with that. I was with the writing and the graffiti. I've noticed a lot in the surrounding area that's not inside of Sunnyside, so we can't really report it, but I'm seeing a lot around. So I was just curious. I know we had an update about 4 weeks ago. I was just curious if that had...
Yeah, we're seeing an upswing in graffiti. We know that the intel that we're getting is that the gang activity is on a rise, and we're trying to address that as aggressively as possible within the city limits, obviously, working with the other agencies as well to address some of those issues, the graffiti especially, and the gang writing. I was on the phone today with the chief deputy at Yakima County, and we're going to get together this week and continue that discussion as well.
Cool. Yeah, I'd like to hear more about that for sure.
I have just a quick question, and it's, if there's graffiti that's not like on your building, but is on like the Yakima waste garbage bins, who takes care of the graffiti on that?
Well, that's a great question. I'm guessing that the owner, like the Yakima Waste, would be responsible for that. But if it's on our property and we're not getting any response from them, then I wouldn't be opposed to sending code enforcement out and having it abated as soon as possible.
I just bring it up because I know there's been graffiti on this one by the Daily Sun News office there in the alley that's been there for at least over a week and a half, and I don't know if that's had been reported to your office or not, but certainly you guys might want to take a picture and then we can work on the abatement.
Absolutely.
It's just right there, so.
Every
okay.
day, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wasn't sure about how that worked.
Madam Mayor, to further that discussion, I encourage anybody, anytime you see graffiti, call it in, okay? Right away. Don't wait a week, don't wait 2 weeks. We just want to get rid of it, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you call it in, we will find a way to take care of it. Either we'll take care of it, or Yakima Waste will take care of it, or we'll give a can of spray paint to the Sun. I don't know, the Daily Sun crew. But we'll take care of that. Right. So moving forward then, I will be attending the Recon conference down in Las Vegas next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We've got some good prospects going on. Hopefully we can bring back some business to town here. Again, the way this thing works is it takes 2 to 3 to 4 years before they actually start, digging dirt. They're real secretive about where they want to build and what they're doing. So I'll bring back a little bit of a report on that, but I'm not going to be mentioning too many names right now. So I'd like to introduce the new city clerk. She left. You've all heard, I think, that Ms. Estrada has decided to take a job in some island on the Pacific somewhere. I don't know.
Bikini Bottom?
Something like that. Mercer Island. So my first email was wrong. I didn't know the difference, so I just remembered some island over there. So I knew it wasn't Alcatraz, though. See.
Too far north.
So we are losing Miss Estrada, and I did appoint Miss Jackie Renteria this afternoon. This will be promotion. She has been your acting deputy city clerk for approximately 2 years, I think, somewhere in there. And I think she'll do a good job for us, and this will kind of be smoothest, much to Mr. Fisher's chagrin. He loses Jackie full time, so he'll be in the market for a administrative assistant. So if you know anybody, you might want to have him get ready to fill out an application. So we'll be opening that one up just as quickly as we can to try to fill that void. So I have been approached. We've started preliminary discussions with the city of Grandview to provide ambulance services to them. Okay, I'm not sure where this is going to go, but the hospital is involved in these discussions. We will be meeting on Wednesday to discuss this a little bit. So I'll be bringing a little bit more information back as this develops. We've also been approached by Toppenish, who's asked us to consider dispatching for them. So
Oh, wow.
I'll be working on that a little bit and giving you a report as we go through this process. So we've got a whole lot of work to figure out before we
That's
finalize anything, but they want to do it pretty quick.
the police dispatching.
Correct.
Right.
And that's all I have.
Okay. And I knew I should have wrote that down.
Madam, my apologies. I did have a meeting with the Humane Society, and we discussed some of the concerns that we were doing, and they were going to reach out to Mr. Price. Did they ever talk to you? No. Okay. I will follow up on that then. I met with them last Wednesday, and Mr. Von Murray was supposed to give you a call and have a discussion on that. Okay. So I will double check on that. We resolved some of the issues and concerns. I think we came to an understanding as to what we needed. And as I said, the numbers they gave us last fall are still valid, and so I will be bringing that back to you in 2 weeks, and then we can decide whether you want 30 or 40 or some other number. And that's all I have.
Okay, excellent. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to bring forward at this time? If not, without objection, meeting adjourned. Something I was going.
You had something on your mind and you can't remember
I
what it
didn't
was.
write it down. If I don't write it down, I can't.
How old is your son, Greg?
That's a thing.
How old is your son? Is he still in? Oh, he's still in. Okay. He looks younger.
I'll run over and talk to him.
He looks younger than that.
Taking an interest in that. Appreciate that.
I've asked Dan to.
They bought it, they had me go through everything and do the
I was out of town.
And I said, you guys need to rip everything.
I
Oh, no, we
took
can't.
days off, and we bought it from this week.
You need to rip everything out and start over again. And raise the standard of this. Oh, no.
Okay, I gotta.
We're going to raise the standard, but we're not going to talk back. Appreciate exactly the same. So, give them all this pressure on the townhouse, they'll move it over to that one.
Yes, he should be able to give me some information, hopefully this week. Again, I just asked him to look at the dispatch logs.
Well, even 2 or 3
Because all-
years ago,
all-
I
and
went in
that
there,
was-
the
that
manager
was on
wanted
me.
me
I
to
just-
work.
I just
Last
gave
time I
him
was
the
there, and he
visual.
said, yeah, we can pretty much tell.
Control
Somebody comes in, we know whether it's a prostitute or whether it's a smoker.
there.
We know who they are.
Don't hit it with your knee.
Things turned around pretty fast.
And
When I first got on,
I said, and give them rooms. Not the owner, I'm the manager. They tell me what I do, you know.